Okay, so you need some more space, but you're not quite ready for like a full-blown addition to your house.
Right.
You've been hearing all this buzz about custom sheds, but are they really more than just, glorified storage units?
Mm.
Let's deep dive into this article we found, how a custom shed can add value to your property and find out if they actually like live up to the hype.
Yeah, what I think is really captivating is how sheds have transformed. I mean, they're not just those like utilitarian boxes anymore.
Yeah.
We're seeing people turn them into home offices, art studios, guest suites even.
Oh, wow.
And that translates into some serious potential when you're talking about boosting your property value.
Yeah, that's what really caught my eye, too. The article mentions a possible 1% to 4% increase in your property value.
Yeah.
Which, could be thousands of dollars.
Right. And here's the interesting part, is that range, it's not arbitrary. A basic storage shed, it might only nudge the value up a tiny bit, but a fully finished, climate-controlled space, with plumbing, that's what's going to push you towards that 4% mark. It's all about the features and the functionality.
So it's not just about, like, slapping some walls and a roof together. You've really got to be strategic about it.
Absolutely. And the article really digs into the design elements that make a difference. For example, they talk about, architectural harmony.
Okay.
Making sure that your shed complements your main house.
So, like, if my house has a craftsman style with brick accents, my shed should echo those elements.
Exactly. It shows attention to detail.
Okay.
And it creates this cohesive look that buyers just love. Imagine pulling up to a property, and the shed looks like it was always meant to be there. It's a subtle signal, but it's a powerful one that the whole property has been well cared for.
That makes total sense. It's not just an afterthought stuck in the backyard.
Right.
But what about practicality? What are the features that make a shed truly functional?
The article highlights things like insulation, ventilation, natural light. Those are must-haves.
Okay, why are those so crucial? I mean, beyond basic comfort, I guess.
Yeah, well, think about it. If you want to use the shed year-round, proper insulation is key. And then good ventilation prevents moisture buildup, which is essential for preventing damage and keeping the air fresh. As for natural light, well, nobody wants to work or relax in a gloomy box, right?
Right. Wow, I hadn't even considered all of that. It really changes the game when you think about actually spending time in there.
Right. And then don't forget about the technical aspects.
Right.
The article mentions durable materials like cedar siding or metal roofing.
Okay. Are there like pros and cons to each of those?
Definitely. So cedar siding gives you that classic, natural look. But it requires regular staining to maintain its beauty and weather resistance.
Okay.
Metal roofing is incredibly low maintenance, but it might not be suitable for all climates. It can get pretty noisy during a hailstorm, for instance.
That's a good point. Those are great points. It sounds like choosing the right materials is a real balancing act.
It is, and that's where professional advice can be invaluable. Speaking of professional advice, the article reminds us about the less glamorous but crucial aspect of shed building. Zoning regulations.
Yeah, right. The dreaded red tape. But I guess it's better to be safe than sorry.
Absolutely. Things like maximum shed size, height restrictions placement on your property, setbacks from property lines.
Wow.
Even how close you can build to utility connections, they can all vary depending on where you live.
So many things to consider. I can see why the article recommends consulting with a professional.
Yeah, they can navigate all those regulations and ensure your shed is fully compliant.
Okay.
Which can save you from potential headaches and costly rework down the line.
That makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
Okay, so we've got design and permits covered. But let's talk about maximizing a return on investment. Are there any secrets there?
Well, the article emphasizes versatility. If you're thinking about resale value, you want to design a space that can serve multiple purposes.
Okay.
Imagine a shed that could easily transition from a workshop to a home office or even a guest room.
Now that's clever. It's like appealing to a wider range of potential buyers, right?
Right.
But building something that adaptable, I mean, that must be pretty tricky even for experienced DIRs.
You got that right. And that's why the article makes a strong case for professional construction.
Okay.
Think about it. Structural integrity, weather resistance, overall, finish, quality, warranty coverage, and of course, building code compliance. Professionals bring all that to the table, which ultimately protects your investment.
Makes sense. You're paying for expertise and peace of mind.
Exactly. And that's especially important when you consider the long-term value of your shed.
So it seems like building a custom shed is more than just adding like a storage unit to your property. It's really a strategic investment that can actually enhance your property and your lifestyle.
You hit the nail on the head. But it's not just about building it. The article stresses the importance of regular maintenance to preserve that value.
I bet a lot of people overlook that aspect.
They do. But regular inspections are crucial. You want to check for water damage pests, keep those gutters clean, maintaining exterior finishes, and paint, addressing any repairs promptly. Those are all key to keeping your shed in top shape.
It's like anything else. A little upkeep goes a long way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And don't forget about the landscaping around your shed. Keeping it well maintained enhances the overall appeal of the property. And that's something potential buyers definitely notice.
It's all about the big picture.
Yeah.
So we've covered a lot of ground, from design and functionality to regulations and maintenance. Seems like there's a lot more to consider than just, throwing up a prefab kit from the hardware store.
There is.
Yeah.
And what's truly fascinating is how sheds can also reflect our personal values and aspirations.
Oh, wow.
But we can delve into that a bit later. Let's take a moment to digest everything we've learned so far.
Okay, so we've talked about like the nuts and bolts of building a custom shed, the design, the materials, the permits.
Right.
But you mentioned something earlier about sheds reflecting our personal values. That really piqued my interest. What did you mean by that?
Well, think about it. For a while, it was all about like expansive decks and patios,
Yeah.
But now with custom sheds, it's like we're reclaiming the backyard in a different way.
Okay.
It's not just about expanding the footprint of our homes. It's about creating these dedicated spaces that really cater to our individual passions and needs.
I see what you mean. It's like creating zones for different activities. You have your social space, your gardening space, and now your me time space in the shed.
Exactly. It's about curating a property that reflects a well-rounded lifestyle.
Yeah.
And I think that resonates with buyers too. They're not just looking for square footage anymore.
Right.
They're looking for a property that feels thoughtfully designed and offers a sense of intentionality.
So it's not just about adding value to the property. It's about adding value to our lives.
Precisely. And that value is different for everyone.
Okay.
For some, it might be about having a dedicated workspace that boosts productivity and allows them to separate work from home life. For others, it might be about creating a sanctuary for relaxation and rejuvenation,
Right.
a place to unwind and recharge. I've even seen people create mini art studios, yoga spaces, or even just quiet reading nooks tucked away in their backyards.
I love that it's like a physical manifestation of our inner world.
Right.
Speaking of which, what are some of the more creative ways people are personalizing their sheds?
Oh, the possibilities are endless. I've seen sheds with skylights for stargazing,
Oh, wow.
built-in bookshelves that turn the space into a cozy library, and even one with a rock climbing wall.
What?
People are really getting creative with incorporating their hobbies and passions into the design.
That's incredible. It sounds like there's no limit to what you can do.
And let's not forget about the potential for sustainability.
Okay.
You can incorporate eco-friendly materials and design features like solar panels to power the space, or rainwater harvesting systems for irrigation. It's a great opportunity to align your shed with your environmental values.
That's a fantastic point. So you can boost your property value, create a space that reflects your personality,
Right.
and even reduce your environmental impact. Talk about a win-win-win.
Absolutely.
But let's be realistic. Not everyone has the time or skills to take on a project like this themselves.
Right.
At what point does it make sense to bring in a professional, Baroud?
That's a great question. It really comes down to your comfort level and the complexity of the project.
Okay.
If you have construction experience and you're confident in your abilities, DIY can be a very rewarding experience. But you have to be honest with yourself about your limitations.
Yeah.
A custom shed, especially one with more intricate design features,
Right.
or electrical and plumbing work, can quickly become overwhelming for even experienced DIYers.
So it's not just about having the skills, it's also about having the time and the mental bandwidth
Yes,
to manage a project of this scale.
exactly. And don't forget about the permits and inspections.
Yeah.
Navigating those regulations can be a real headache for someone who's not familiar with the process.
Right.
Hiring a reputable builder gives you that peace of mind,
Yeah.
knowing that they're handling all the technical aspects
Okay.
and ensuring that everything is up to code.
It sounds like there's a lot to be said for having that expertise and support, especially if you're aiming for a high-quality, long-lasting structure.
Absolutely.
Right.
When you hire a professional, you're investing in their craftsmanship, their knowledge of building codes,
Yeah.
and often their warranties.
Yeah.
It's a way to protect your investment
Okay.
and ensure that your shed is built to last.
Plus, they can probably help you avoid costly mistakes or oversights that you might not even realize you're making.
Exactly. They've been through this process countless times before.
Right.
And they can anticipate potential challenges or offer creative solutions that you might not have thought of.
Okay, so let's say you've decided to go the professional route. What are some key things to look for when choosing a builder?
Well, first and foremost, you want to look for someone with experience building custom sheds.
Okay.
Not all contractors have the same skill set. And you want to make sure you're working with someone who understands the unique challenges and possibilities of this type of construction.
That makes sense. What else should we be considering?
Check their portfolio and see if their style aligns with your vision. Do they have experience working with the materials you're interested in?
Okay.
Can they provide references from previous clients?
So it's about finding a good fit in terms of both expertise and aesthetics.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to ask about their process.
Okay.
How do they handle communication?
Right.
What kind of warranties do they offer? Are they transparent about pricing and potential challenges? These are all important factors to consider before making a decision.
It sounds like there's a lot to think about.
Yeah.
But it's all about making an informed choice that sets you up for success.
You got it. And remember, even if you're not planning on selling your property anytime soon, a custom shed can still be a worthwhile investment.
Okay.
It's about enhancing your lifestyle, creating a space that brings you joy, and maybe even learning some new skills along the way.
I love that perspective. It's not just about the financial return. It's about the personal enrichment that comes from having a space that truly reflects you.
Absolutely. And that's what makes this whole topic so fascinating. It's about so much more than just building a structure.
Yeah.
It's about creating something that adds value to your life on multiple levels.
Well said. We've covered so much ground today, from the practical aspects of construction to the more nuanced considerations of personal value and lifestyle enhancement. It's clear that custom sheds are more than just glorified storage units. They're blank canvases for creativity, self-expression, and even sustainability.
Couldn't agree more. And I think we've given our listeners a lot to ponder as they embark on their own shed adventures.
Yeah.
But before we wrap things up completely, I think it would be helpful to address one final crucial aspect.
Okay.
The ongoing maintenance of your investment. Let's take a quick moment to refresh.
Okay.
And then come back to discuss how to keep your custom shed looking its best for years to come.
Okay, we're back and ready to tackle the less glamorous but equally important part of shed ownership. Maintenance, I'll admit, it's not the most exciting topic.
All right.
But I have a feeling you're going to give us some insightful tips that go beyond just like keep it clean.
Oh, you know me too well. While regular cleaning is definitely important, there's a lot more to maintaining a custom shed than just sweeping out the dust bunnies. It's about protecting your investment.
Okay.
And ensuring that your shed stays, functional and beautiful for years to come. Think of it as like preventative care for your backyard oasis.
I like that analogy. So where do we even begin?
Well, the first step is regular inspections.
Okay.
Ideally, you should be doing a thorough checkup at least twice a year. Once in the spring and again in the fall.
Okay.
This is your chance to look for any signs of wear and tear damage or potential problems before they become major headaches.
So what exactly are we looking for during these inspections?
Start with the exterior. Check the siding for any cracks, warping, or loose boards. Pay close attention to areas around windows and doors where moisture can sometimes seep in. Examine the roof for missing or damaged shingles and make sure the gutters are clear of debris. Remember, a well-maintained exterior not only looks better, but it also protects the structure from the elements.
That makes sense. It's all about preventing, those little issues from turning into big, expensive repairs down the line.
Exactly. Now, move on to the interior.
Okay.
Check for any signs of water damage, especially around the ceiling and windows. Look for cracks in the walls or flooring and make sure the insulation is still intact.
Okay.
Don't forget to inspect the electrical wiring and fixtures to ensure they're in good working order.
Right.
And haven't been compromised by pests or moisture.
Speaking of pests, are there any specific precautions we should take to keep those critters at bay?
Absolutely. Pests can wreak havoc on a shed, especially if it's not used regularly.
Right.
Make sure to seal any cracks or gaps in the foundation walls or roof. Store firewood and other potential attractants away from the shed. And consider using natural pest deterrents like cedar chips or peppermint oil around the perimeter. If you do notice any signs of infestation, it's best to consult with a professional exterminator sooner rather than later.
Okay, noted. So we've inspected the interior,
Right.
checked for pests. What else should we be thinking about in terms of regular maintenance?
Don't forget about the finishing touches.
Okay.
Depending on the materials you've used, you'll need to reapply paint or stain periodically to protect those exterior surfaces from the elements.
Okay.
Make sure the windows and doors are properly sealed to prevent drafts and moisture intrusion. And don't overlook the landscaping around your shed. Keeping the area tidy and well-maintained enhances the overall appeal of your property, and it prevents overgrowth that can damage the structure.
So it's not just about the shed itself. It's about the whole ecosystem around it. It's all connected.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A well-maintained shed blends seamlessly with its surroundings and adds to the overall beauty of your property.
Right.
It's like the finishing touch on a masterpiece.
I love that analogy. It makes the whole process of maintenance feel less like a chore and more like an act of care and appreciation.
That's the perfect way to think about it. By taking the time to regularly inspect, clean, and maintain your custom shed, you're not just preserving its value, you're nurturing a space that brings you joy and enhances your lifestyle.
This has been such an eye-opening deep dive. We've covered everything from design inspiration and material selection to navigating regulations and ensuring long-term maintenance. I feel like I've gone from shed skeptic to shed enthusiast in just one episode.
That's the power of knowledge. And remember, the journey doesn't end here. Building a custom shed is an ongoing process of creativity, problem-solving, and personal expression.
So true. And speaking of personal expression, let's leave our listeners with a final thought to ponder as they embark on their own shed adventures. What unique feature would make a custom shed truly valuable to you? Think beyond storage. What would make it an extension of your home and personality? Maybe a potting bench bathed in natural light, a cozy writing nook overlooking the garden, or even a mini observatory for stargazing. The possibilities are endless.
We'd love to hear your ideas. Share them on our social media channels. And if you're ready to start planning your dream shed, remember to check those local regulations and consider consulting a professional happy building.
And that's a wrap on this deep dive into the world of custom sheds. We've explored the practical, the financial, and even the philosophical aspects of these versatile structures.
That's right.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep creating spaces that bring you joy.